Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Windows. My name is Ahmed Nader and tonight I'm filling in for my colleague Dina Hussein as tonight we're focusing on the remarkable turnout for the Alamein festival in the new Alamein city, and I'm honored to be having with me tonight over the program is Mr. Alaa Eish, the expert in tourism. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Ahmed.
First of all, this is the first edition of the new Alamein City Festival, or the Alamein Festival. How would you see the importance of holding such a touristic festival in such a new place, relatively?
For me now, I must look to it from two sides, from the domestic side and the international side,
Yes.
because now in the north coast, from Alexandria till Marsa Matruh, and of course the most important city now is Alamein, as we know, Alamein is very famous since World War II.
Yes.
Because of the tombs there, and for me it is very important just to put a spot on it and to show the people around the world, the tourism around the world, how wonderful that city is now. It is modern. It is a mix between modern architect and local Bedouin as well, because Bedouins live there in Marsa Matruh is very famous. We know about the wonderful sands, the famous beaches there, like Cleopatra Beach, for example. That's why now we are in a very hard competition, of course, during the summer, because Al Alamein, a lot of people does not know that we during summer in the north coast by Alexandria, Al Alamein, the Marsa Matruh, we are in a very hard competition with Spain, with Tunisia, with Morocco, with Italy, and with, of course, Greece and Cyprus as well. That's why we have to always bring to the market a new products.
Yes.
We as experts in our field in the tourism industry, we believe in that from time to time you have to come out with a new product. And I think it is that festival in Alamein now, it is a very attracting, what you call it, attracting point or attracting event.
Yes.
to show how interesting that city is. That for me it is we have to work a lot on it. We have to do a lot. We have to we have to attract more tourism to the tourists to Al Alamein and to the whole north coast. Mm-hmm. Especially now that even we are in hard competition with Italy itself, because now most of the foreigner tourists are coming to Al Alamein and
yes.
to the north coast are from Italy. Mm-hmm. And as you know, that in Italy has a wonderful beaches, but a lot of Italians charters are flying now to Marsa Matruh and or to Alexandria as well, and coming to Al Alamein. That's why it is. We are really and we have now really what you call it good results. Mm-hmm. It is for us. It is really a wonderful surprise to have such a success.
Yes. A lot of Europeans, as you mentioned, they have good beaches, sandy beaches, and the sun as well. All of them are like the Italians. They are coming here. Are they trying to have a new experience in Egypt, or is it less expensive than going there?
You know, if you are more what you call it, if you are spending your holiday from, leaving wonderful beaches in Italy, for example,
Yes.
and coming coming to El Alamein, you are searching for something new, and you know what? Just we have a lot of attraction there in Al Alamein.
Yes.
Because you know, in Al Alamein, you as I mentioned before, you have the Bedouin lives, and you have the wonderful sands which you
Yes.
cannot find, and the desert as well. And don't forget that if you are going to spend your holiday in Al Alamein, you can just go to oasis like Siwa.
Yes.
Siwa is not that far from Al Alamein or from Marsa Matruh, and then you have a mix between the safaris. You can have a wonderful safari jeeps, for example, wonderful trips to Siwa, for example, or enjoy a dinner in the middle of the desert.
Yes.
And enjoying the Bedouin lives, and in the same time you have a wonderful beaches. And I must say, it is for me, Cleopatra Beach, for example, by Marsa Matruh, it is one of the wonder. It is clear water, wonderful sands, and it is sunny. Even if it is warm, you have a wonderful wind there. You can enjoy it very much.
How much time will it take to go from the new Alamein city or from the Alamein festival to the beach of Cleopatra? Because it is in the governorate of Marsa Matruh.
That's right.
2 hours maybe?
Yeah, not that much. I think it is about maximum 90 minutes. You see, it is not that far.
Yes.
Then that's why you can enjoy many different beaches in the same time, and you can enjoy the Bedouin atmosphere. You can go to Siwa, you can go to Saloum.
It is a whole new governorate or a new experience in the governorate of Marsa Matruh, so you can do both on the same day.
Yes.
Or at the same itinerary.
Yes, that's it. That's why you have different what you call it, types of tourism in the same time. You can enjoy beach, you can enjoy safari, you can enjoy having a dinner or a lunch by the Bedouins there.
Yes.
You see, you enjoy the local, and even the what you call it, the local customs there is really unique. You see, with their nice red head with the white dress, it is something really interesting. And in the same time, you can enjoy a fish meal there from the Mediterranean, and you can enjoy gazelle, for example, as a lunch there. It is a lot of interesting things.
Yes, you mentioned that Al Alamein in itself, it is famous for the foreigners. A lot of people from Italy, from Germany, from Europe in specific, they know that maybe 100 years ago regarding the World War II and the end of World War II. How can we be changing the image of the Alamein city into the new Alamein city with the beaches, with the festivals, with the music, with the concerts, with the North Coast on its right, with Marsa Matruh on its left?
You know, it is even if, because I have studied marketing.
Yes.
And in marketing, if you are trying to promote something, you have to choose a name sound really what you call it, close to
attractive.
Attractive.
Yes.
For example, do you know it? We are using now Al Alamein as a very important story or in the World War II. And let us talk about the Europeans or the Americans who met or lost their grandfathers in that war,
Yes.
especially German, for example, from West Europe. And you know, a lot of them, they heard about Al Alamein, even if they cannot remember what is going, the relationship between them and Al Alamein, because you know, a lot of people, they do not try to talk about this and about war and especially after the Second World War, a lot of people, because I live between Switzerland and Egypt, and I know it very well. If you are trying to talk to them about a war or that bad experience, they change very quick the stuff. They don't want to talk about it. But in the same time, they know the name. And for me, it is very important, of course, that to use that name in North Coast.
Yes.
You know, instead of talking about the North Coast, you are talking about a famous name. And that famous name, because they studied in the schools there, they studied the Second World War, and they forget maybe what is happening. But in the same time, that name just
it rings a bell.
That's it. Rings a bell, and that's it. That's why it is for me. It is to use that word, that name, and to try to polish it. You see, just to let the people to remember it again, and to bring it to the market, and to try to promote it now, and especially, you know, if you are trying to promote it during the winter. You see, it is, if you come to the winter time and start to promote Alaa mine, for example, because we are just close to the winter. After 1 or 2 months, we are in the winter. We have to promote it during the winter for the next summer. You see, I will
outside of Egypt for the foreigners.
I will tell you about something here. There is a very famous Korean series called Kloy. It is the name of it is just Crush Love on You.
Yes.
And they brought it to the TV in Thailand, Philippines, and Korea, and in Asia. I mean, during the COVID time, and a lot of people saw how magic is Switzerland and the lakes and most of the people are really flying during last summer to Switzerland to go to such lakes and to you know, because I have asked them, because I own 2 travel agencies, one in Egypt and one in Switzerland, and I asked them, why you are attracted by such city, and they told me that, you know, it is because during COVID time we were like a prisons at home, and we saw the lakes and we saw the mountains and we dream of it. Yes. You see, and I have, and you know, learned something out of it, that if you wanted to attract somebody, just bring it in the time he is missing it. I mean, if you are hungry and I come to you, you know, and with wonderful dishes, and you saw it in the TV, I will attract you. You will think about it. And if in winter, if I am coming with, you know, the beaches with the shorts and you see and running around the music, and you will dream out. You will dream. What do you call it? You will dream of it. You see? Yes, and then you will plan for the next summer to book such a trip, and you will, you know, that you will never forget it. That's it. It is the way to promote. It's just bring it to in what you call it, in suitable time. Bring it, just let the people to see it for a different time, not only one time. You see, they just don't promote it now and you sleep, and then you say, okay, still 6 months for the next summer.
I need to remind them all the time that we're still here.
That's it. Yes, you have to remind them always.
Yes. On the other hand, starting with this line, we have Alexandria, the North Coast, and then the new Alamein city, and Marsa Matruh, and maybe beyond that in the near future. For the Egyptians in specific, what would make them go and leave Alexandria? Because we know Alexandria is very bombarded with tourists and people coming from all over Egypt into Alexandria during the summer season. what would make them leave Alexandria and the North Coast and go to the New Alamein city? Because this is the first time that we are celebrating the inauguration of the New Alamein city this summer.
I think Al Alamein now is presenting the modern Egypt. You see, it is something, it is well organized, very clean, has a nightlife, you see, it is, and the day life, of course, as well. But it is something really unique now in Egypt, and it is, we have to know that we have what you call it, summer resorts. And we have winter resorts. We have winter resorts, normally Hurghada and all the Red Sea line, Sharm el-Sheikh, Marsa Alam, I'm sorry. And all of that, for us, it is winter resort. And of course, during summer as well, we have good volumes there, or we are having really a good what to call it, special during, for example, August and September and October, we nearly have 90% occupations there. But for us, it is the North Coast. It is something, and we, as I told you before, that we have a very hard competition. We have very tough competitors, like Cyprus. Cyprus, for them, it is summer. It is their main what you call it, season, and it is for them, it is one of them, or their main income. And Malta as well, Greece, and you know the Greece islands, and they are really nice and clean. And we have Spain, and you know, if you are coming with Al Alamein and you want just to be in a competition with them, you have to be well organized. You have to. We have to raise the standard. The standard. We have to raise the bar. Yes, but it is now. If I am asking myself, I am not one of the authorities here, but I am asking myself. Are they targeting young people or middle age or elderly people or retired? You see, are they targeting young, normal rich or really rich people? You think there is something for everyone from Egypt and outside of Egypt? That's it, because they know it is now in Alamein, the hotels are very expensive. Yes. We must just look to it as it is, because some rooms, they sell it for $600 per night, even for the Egyptians. $600 is too much. And maybe this is for the foreigners, no, for the Egyptians. One hotel there, they sent to us price list for the Egyptian dollars. Which for me it was a surprise, I must say, to pay in Egypt in dollars. I mean, of course you will pay it in equal Egyptian pounds. But anyway, it is one. I must say the government has to work on it. You have to have accommodation suitable for each one. I mean, for the young people, you have to have hostels. What you call it, not budget hotels. I must. I don't like to say cheap hotels. We can call it budget hotel. Yes. Hotels, you have to have 3 stars hotel, 4 and 5, and the luxury. Of course, for me, it is. I wanted to have a good income. You see, but you have to have for everybody. You see, to attract everyone, because the young people today. They don't have a lot of money, but tomorrow he will get a good job. After tomorrow, he will have maybe will be rich. And that's why I wanted to build. I want to have loyalty from the customer. That's it, or repeaters. You see, we can call it. We call it in our industry. We call it repeaters. We have to have repeaters. You see, because they don't know. I'm talking about my own experience because I opened my first travel agency in Switzerland at 1993. And now I have, generation after generation. You see, one of them, he said, my father, my mother went with you at 1995, and now I would like to do the same as my parents, for example. You see, it is something, repeaters or loyalty, as you have mentioned before, it is for us is very important. And we have to plan for the next 20 years or 30 years.
Those loyal customers or loyal tourists who keep coming back to Egypt, because Egypt has a lot of things at the same time. Maybe for the summer season we have the beach tourism for the north coast, Alexandria, Marsa Matruh, New Alamein City. Even in winter we have beaches like you've mentioned, Hurghada, Sharm el-Sheikh, Ras Sadr, and all those places. We have, of course, the pyramids, and we have the new Grand Egyptian Museum, for example, the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. We have like everything for everyone at the same time. So in your opinion, how many times could be enough for one tourist to be coming to Egypt and seeing everything?
If you're asking me, I will say I will wish. You see, I wish that we never have they never have enough. I wish that they will
because
come again and again.
I've been living here for 35 years and I haven't seen everything.
Yeah, do you know it is? Do you know it is? If somebody is asking me, maybe I had the same question many times before, several times before, from my own clients, and I always say, do you know, Egypt has always something new. You see, it is, you know, if you come to Egypt, especially now after President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is just working really hard to have always new what you call it, projects and new buildings,
even
new cities, a lot of instructions right now. But it is, for me, it is, I must say it is a mix. We have a lot of mix between. And that even if...
is that a good thing for someone who wants to come to Egypt, or is it there are too many choices for him that I don't know what to be visiting on my first visit?
It is, you know, it is, in Egypt, we have a lot of mix. You see, you have summer, as I told you, we have summer resorts, Marsa Alam, Marsa Al-Alamein, Alexandria, Siwa, and we have the winter resorts, and we have Upper Egypt, sculpture. You see, it is, we have divings. You have diving you can diving, snorkeling, you see it, sailing. You have a lot. You have beach holidays. You have wonderful safaris in
You feel like
South.
every governorate has an atmosphere for itself and its own culture. So if you're planning on visiting Cairo, for example, you could be staying here for 10 or 20 days, and you have a lot to do and a lot to see. If you go to Siwa, there's another culture and another atmosphere.
We have the
Luxor and Aswan, the beach resorts, like a whole different atmosphere.
We have the White Desert by Al-Wahat, for example, Wahat Bahariya, and then we have Nile cruises. We have, you know, it is a lot of things you can do.
So what would be the priority? Because you have a travel agency in Switzerland, someone who comes to you and says, I want to come to Egypt. What would you say to him? You should be starting with this and going through that and ending with that.
You know, the first thing I always ask, you know, because we are specialized in handmade or special or private tours, you see. And I always ask the people what you're interested in it, you see. And I always ask families, you see, about if they have teenagers, I ask them what you like, and the mother, the father, and I try always to make a mix between all of them, to make it more interesting for all of them. You see, during the school holidays, you have to come with a new idea to attract the young people or the teenagers or the kids to come to Egypt, because they know they have what you call it, a big influence on their parents.
Yes.
You say if you are going with your kids in a holiday, you always listen to them.
Yes.
You never listen to yourself or to your wife. You see, both of you are waiting. What do you like? And they will ask you, okay, we would like to have a hotel, for example, with aqua park. You see, that's the way it is. If you come for example, with the Alaa main, you have to attract many, you see, or different types of tourism. You see, in the same time, you don't say, okay, we are here for the rich people. Okay, but you know, if you're only for the rich people, maybe next season you will not have most of them, because they will go to another place. You see, you will have only for young people. For young people, you know, maybe they will have another place. You see, you have to have for different types of tourism. You say that to attract both of them. You have to think, to come always with something new, and that's it. What I am doing in my own travel agency here in Egypt or in Switzerland. I always come with a new product. You say just to attract the people, to make it what you call it, to suitable for them, to try to mix, for example, between the expensive product and the budget product, to make it in between, not that expensive for them, or to make it
and to be interesting at the same time,
yes.
not boring.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I ask the authorities here in Egypt to think always wider, not
diversity.
Yes.
We need diversity.
Yes, that's it. And to study your competitors. You see, you cannot just sit here and you don't study your competitors. You have to look what is going in Spain, which festivals, what they are offering now, and like that.
The importance of, you mentioned the festivals, the importance for here in Egypt to be organizing conferences and festivals like the new Alaa main city, and in different parts of Cairo and different governorates all over Egypt. What is the importance of that in drawing more tourists for the future?
It is, you know, it is here in Egypt now, for example, with the exhibitions,
yes,
conferences, festivals, events. You see, it is sport events, for example. It is very important for us. You know, it is, you can, for example, I will give you an example about the festival of, or the carnival of Rio de Janeiro. All the world are in Brazil, yes. All the world are traveling during that carnival to enjoy it in Rio de Janeiro, for example.
Yes.
You have to provide here the same. You have to offer the same. You have to come with events, with sport. You see sport. You can, you know, why not? If we are a family, for example, if you come with your wife and your kids here, and everyone has his own hobby. Then you can go diving, your wife going to lie on the beach, the kids enjoying aqua marina, for example. You see, and the whole family enjoying a Nile cruise, and going to have a sea trip with the lunch on for example on island, for example, like Gifton Island by Hurghada, for example.
Yes.
You see, next year, if you ask your family to come to Egypt, everybody will say yes. Why not? We can come again. We enjoy it.
We have all had fun.
Yes, because all of you have fun. But if one of you, you know, no, it was boring for me. Because you're enjoying diving, your wife lied on the beach, and the other kid enjoying aqua, but the other one did not. You see, like that, you cannot come again. But if everybody has the fun, then of course you will decide all of you together to come next year, for example, or then the year after.
Yes. On the other hand, you mentioned that we always need new products.
That's it.
Under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, for example, in terms of tourism and culture and antiquities, we have had the inauguration of the NAMEC, for example, the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. We've had the parade of the mummies from Tahrir Square, the Egyptian Museum, to the NAMEC. We have had the inauguration of the Sphinx route between two temples in Luxor.
Yes.
And we are looking forward to the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. How do you see, in the eyes of tourists or the eyes of foreigners, people who are living outside of Egypt, how are they looking forward to inaugurating the Grand Egyptian Museum?
I have to tell you that I am expecting when we open the Grand Museum, we will have a big problem. Really, a real big problem.
A good problem.
No, yes, of course,
big problem.
not a bad one, but
Yes.
a good one. Yeah, because you know you will not have enough rooms. You see, because a lot of people they are waiting. You see, for that. We always
So people come and ask for
yes,
it.
asking to come.
What is
When
happening? When is
will
it
be
happening?
opened? When will be opened? You see, for me it is like a nightmare now, because I know the demand will be really very high, and we don't have enough rooms. You see, here in Cairo or around Cairo, and I don't know what we'll do, because you know it will be like booming.
Yes.
You see, it is really, it is not not a dream. It is a real, because I know how high the demand is now, and a lot of people waiting. And even if I say always, okay, it will be a little bit more, a little bit expensive. No, never mind. We can pay, no problem. I said, okay, but that's why it is something is everybody is dreaming of, and I think it will be really a very attractive point here in Egypt, you see, and that Grand Museum, you need about 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
To cover all of it, because it's a huge...
To cover the museum.
Yes, only for the museum.
Yes.
not
3 or
for
4 days
Cairo.
for the museum.
No, I am not talking about Cairo.
Yes.
I'm not talking about Luxor and the Aswan. It is only for the Egyptian Museum. It is it will be really wonderful, of course, and a big problem.
Yes, you mentioned it would be a good problem, a big good problem for the Egyptian authorities and for the tourism officials. But the Grand Egyptian Museum is not just about the museum in itself and the antiquities and the statues within the museum. It would be the area around the museum as well. There would be the Sphinx airport, for example, people coming specifically for the museum, maybe within Egypt, from Hurghada, for example, and maybe from the outside of Egypt as well. But how about the renovation of the Giza Plateau pyramids? Because the whole area would be renovated.
Yes.
I think there is a shape of a pyramid for the Grand Egyptian Museum, and the pyramids are aligned as well in the same area. So how do you see, in your opinion, the idea of itself in renovating the Giza Pyramids Plateau upon inaugurating the Grand Egyptian Museum? Because a lot of people have visited the pyramids all over the years, maybe for the past 100 years, but they could be coming once again to be seeing this and that at the same time.
Yes, that's why it is something really you are investing a lot, a huge amount in that museum, in that the whole area, but it is something it is really deserved. That area really deserves to be shining all time, because it is wonderful. It is unique. Do you know the most? I always say to my clients, if you would go to pyramids, I ask you kindly to do something.
Yes.
Just to sit and enjoy the whole atmosphere. You will feel really peaceful. You will feel relaxed. You will feel happy. Just sit, enjoy the fresh air there, the whole atmosphere. You know, if you sit like that, you'll understand the pharaohs, why they chose this point to build their pyramids. You will understand them. You will feel them then.
Yes.
That's it. Wonderful.
Yes, and finally, Mr. Alaa, returning to the New Alamein city, the whole motto about the New Alamein city festival is Al-Alam Alamein, or the whole world is being represented at Al-Alamein. How do you see this for the future? Do you think it would be an attractive point for the people coming from all over the world, as you mentioned, competing with Cyprus, with Greece, with Italy, with Spain, or do we need something else to be doing for the future?
Yeah, you have to invest in the whole area anyway. You cannot just rely on Al Alamein itself, you see, because you know, if you received a huge amount of tourists, you don't have enough accommodation anyway there. You have to let everybody to what profit out of it.
Yes.
The whole area from Alexandria till till Salum, by the border, Libyan border. Why not?
Yes.
You see, you have to invest. You have to build more hotels. You have to build shopping areas. You see, why we neglect the shopping? Shopping is very important, and it is good for your industry anyway, for your local market. You see, to have handmade products, especially by Marsa Matruh. The Bedouins are very famous with the carpet.
Yes.
You see, handmade carpets. They are famous with that, and it is for me. You have to invest and always invest. No, never stop. You don't know. You have to take some of your income and invest again and again and again. And for us, it is you will fight the jobless.
Unemployment.
Yes, unemployment. You will give hopes to the new generations. They will get, of course, in tourism industry, we call it. It is industry of tips. Because you know, most of us, or most, not me, but I mean people
working in the industry.
Yes, they rely on tips, and they get good tips, you see. And it is, for me, it is very important for the young people to come in contact with the tourism, and to you have to learn them in the schools how important that's it.
Yes, Mr. Alaa Eish, the expert in tourism, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Windows.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And this brings us to the end of Windows for this week. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.